Overwatch 2. What is it? Overwatch 2 is the sequel to Overwatch 1.
I need healing.
Kinda. But with less players per match, more microtransactions, and less maps and game modes. Cool, you say. I don't want that. Where can I play Overwatch 1? Well, you can't. Overwatch 1 no longer exists. It's now Overwatch 2. Try not to think about it too much, and just accept that they rebranded the same game with what is essentially an update, and fooled you into thinking it was a brand new experience. Moving on. Overwatch 2 is a first-person hero shooter, and not a MOBA. Your hapless team of 5 fools will do their best to push and capture objective points to win. But sometimes, your best isn't good enough, and your teammates will let you know. You will play in one of 3 classes: Tank, DPS, and Healer. Tanks are exactly what it sounds like: big, buff, tough characters that will tank damage, while also hopefully dealing a lot of damage. If you're the tank, you're going to want to stick by your team, take aggro, and defend them from incoming damage when needed. Because a 1,000-pound armored German rocketing towards a 70-year-old grandmother and smashing her into a wall is a real possibility if you don't do your job properly. Tanks tend to get all the Discord heal kits, because if they don't, that makes Daddy angry. And when Daddy gets angry,
Daddy's gonna say something racist.
which I don't encourage, because every voice audio and text chat is recorded and sent directly to Blizard and the People's Republic of China. And any unsavory language towards your teammates or the infallible Chinese government directly affects your social credit score. If you don't feel like playing Nursing Home Simulator 2023, you can play DPS. It stands for Don't Piss Off Your Supports. Your role is to deal damage and secure kills, and so help me God if the tank has double your damage, you're not doing your job properly. I'm gonna have a brain aneurysm. When you're in this role, you can't take as much damage as a tank, and therefore will need to be healed if the enemy team even looks at your little pinky toe the wrong way. But you will not be getting those heals, because your health insurance doesn't cover it. And you press the heal me button literally once, which in the eyes of the average support player is one too many times. At that point, they will tell you no, and intentionally let you die for, quote, spamming the heal me button, and report you, which will drop your social credit score even further. If you're getting tired of your team yelling at you for not doing enough damage because the tank and healers aren't doing their job, you can take a path of self-healing and praise. By picking support, now it's your job to keep you and your whole team alive through various methods of healing that range from just standing there and giving heals passively to testing the limits of your Ritalin medication by constantly switching targets, both friendly and some not so friendly. Your team will inevitably ask you, "Where are my heals?" while they charge around corners out of sight and leave you, a 70-year-old woman with psoriasis, to take out a fully adult gorilla with a Tesla gun in a one-on-one cage match to the death.
Take the chain off!
Hey, freak Joe! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of heat time!
At the end of the match, your team will say, "Heal diff," and insta-quit, but not before you say some not-so-community guideline-friendly things, which will be sent to the powers that be to be judged if you were naughty or nice. Turns out, I can't repeat a lot of the things that are said in lobbies, because they will most definitely get me a strike on YouTube. At this point, your social credit will be so low that you better start learning Mandarin so you can apologize to the People's Republic for the atrocities you've committed, or you will be permabanned. Not a big deal. I'll just make another account. It's free to play, you think to yourself smugly, until you find out you need a registered phone number in order to play this game. So you think, oh, I'll just grab a burner phone from my local Wally Mart. Wrong again, because Blizzard not only loves our overseas brethren, but they also hate poor people. And women. If you don't have a registered phone with a reputable brand, you're not playing this game. Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to be poor. In an attempt to mitigate the toxicity levels in their game, Blizzard, in the past, actually removed the scoreboard. Because if there wasn't a scoreboard, then we couldn't know who's actually getting kills, and those numbers couldn't be used to hurt the feelings of the 2-17 Hanzo who refuses to switch even though he hasn't hit anybody since the first 2 minutes of the match. Luckily, the scoreboard is back, so we can gently remind our teammates of the deficit in their damage and kill output, and maybe they could switch to a more team comp friendly hero. Everything I said about the game before mostly pertains to ranked matches. You can play quick play instead if you want a less toxic environment. Anyone in quick play who starts complaining about any issue, no matter how valid, will be met with, "Bro, it's quick play. What do you expect?" That phrase instantly absolves any and all sin from your team performing dogshit maneuvers. In short, this game is pretty good. It's constantly being updated with new maps, characters, and mostly appropriate balancing, and has the low entry price of free, with the purchase of any registered phone plan. I don't approve of some of their business practices, but I do like some of the games they put out, and I'll leave it at that. If there's one thing I want you to learn from this, it's that it's never your fault you lost. It's your team's fault. You were totally about to diff the enemy team's counterpick if you actually got some fucking heals. I just hope my team shows up to my funeral. That way they could lower my casket into the ground, cause they're pretty fucking good at letting me down. Have a good one. 8 out of 10.